So we threw a party. We were the first ones to throw a party at Travis Scott's house. So like when you see Travis Scott like with the Batman outfit in that crazy crib, like a couple years ago he posted it. That was the crib that we threw it at. So technically I know where Travis lives.
So no, you know where Travis lived, and you sold the house for Travis.
I mean,
or you made Travis buy the house. All right. Well, for this episode of Yacht Club, we have Mayowa. He's a creative executive. I mean, he's really done everything. You've directed music videos for artists like Kelly Rowland. You've launched your own marketing agency, experiential marketing firm called Tapin XR. You've worked for Red Bull Records, managing and promoting new artists at Red Bull Records. You have a new position as creative director of EVGLE, right? Which is Blxst new entertainment company.
Yep.
It's an entertainment company, production company, merch brand fashion brand. Sorry.
Yep.
You've been part of Eric Bellinger's team. You've been part of, you've been creative director for Eric Bellinger, right?
Yep.
You've been part of the team for Blxst as well.
Yep.
I'm probably missing so much and so much to come. He's actually on his way to Boston. I don't know if I can say that. We can cut it out if I can.
That's all good. It's all good. It'll be out already. So yeah.
Cool. But you're on your way to speak at Harvard. Inspire young kids. That are trying to get into creative direction and managing artists as well.
Yep.
So, but Mayo, thank you. I mean, you probably, I don't know how long it took you to get here, but thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, man. Feel at peace right now.
Yeah.
Feels good to be still for a second with all this craziness going on.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, we're on a yacht.
We're on a yacht. Yeah, we are.
We're on a yacht right now. Peaceful.
I think I see some birds up there.
I hope you don't get motion sickness.
Nah.
Mayo, so I guess my first question, because I mean you've just to get into the conversation, you love cars.
Yeah.
You actually drive this fire white Mercedes 190.
190E, yeah. It's
190E.
It's one of my whips, yeah, for sure.
How long have you had it for?
Man, when did I get that? I got that probably like 3 years ago. Yeah, three, like 2.5 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
It's like your baby.
It's like my baby. It used to be my daily until I was able to save enough money to get a new car. But I just definitely still drive it. It's funny because I actually drive my 190E more than I drive my other car. And I don't know. It's just something about it. I just love it. It's just like you said, it's like my baby.
Dude, it's like pulling up in a car like that. It just immediately sets the scene, sets the tone of the meeting, the conversation.
Yeah.
But obviously you love cars. If you could drive one car for the rest of your life, what would it be?
If I could drive one car, damn, that's a great question. I would probably say, probably the F40, Ferrari F40.
Yeah.
It's a nice car. I got introduced to it a while back, cause actually it's actually funny. Like, this is not even music related, but actually, like, when I first came out to LA, one of the first things I was actually part of was like I co-founded a car club in LA in Malibu called Malibu Autobahn, and still part of it, just a little bit more like an advisory role. But we just throw like massive car meetups, and we have like 300, 400 cars pulling up to Westward Beach, and we like take over the Malibu and do like runs. And it was a pretty cool way to just meet people. And it was actually funny because I didn't even own a car at the time, and I was like throwing car meetups in Malibu and LA with all these like rich car owners.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I would say fake it till you make it.
Man.
But like, you're not. You do love cars, and you weren't faking it by any means. So
it was a crazy.
Didn't you throw like a car event like not too long ago, like down somewhere like in K-Town or something?
Yeah, downtown. So we do this thing called what was it called? It was called I I'm blanking on the name such a while ago, and so much has happened since then. Damn, what was it called? I forget what it was called.
But anyway, it was like a car.
It was like
right?
it pretty much was like cars mixed with music, and we really like set up the stage where like we had a Lamborghini on stage with an artist performing, and then we had like a car meetup outside. Then we had like an art show, and we had like vendors, and it was in downtown. It was really cool. We had a lot of people come out. We had like, I would say probably like 500-600 people come out.
It's amazing how much car culture kind of like integrates with pop culture and everything that you can do. Like there's so many overlays between cars and everything else.
Yeah, I mean cars are like, it's just like part of lifestyle, you know. It's like
especially in LA.
Yeah, like when you pull up, you know, you want to pull up nice and clean. You know, you want to, see some shorties. You want to be able to be like, yo, check out the whip. You know, so it's cool. It's cool.
Yes.
And it's funny because like with the 190E, it's like that's just like such a timeless car for me. That's why I love it so much. And I always get people always like stop me and be like, yo, it's such a nice car. And I sometimes forget how like rare it is. And
dude, it's really rare, especially. I mean, it's really rare to see a car like that. It's really rare to see it, just to see it, because normally people go, especially maybe in LA, unless you're really a car fan, they go with like the more modern cars.
Yeah.
But when you see like a vintage car like that, it's it really, I mean, it says a lot about the person driving it.
Yeah.
About the taste of the person driving.
Yeah. It's in really good condition too. It's got like nice peanut butter seats. Put a nice Nardi wood grain wheel on it, and some nice wheels. So yeah, it's my baby.
I have a question. If you could make one modification.
Yeah.
On the car, on a car, what would it be?
On that car or a car?
A car. Like if you could just like, this is one, if you're gonna soup up the car and you can only do one thing to it, what would it be?
I'll focus on my car because I actually been thinking about it. I've been thinking about putting an LS engine in the 190E, which would just like, it's like taking an American engine and putting it in there and just making it a lot faster. But
I didn't even just do that.
Yeah, engine swap. So that's one thing, and it's funny because even before I was thinking about that, and I've been thinking about modifying it because I want to like modify my car in the future to be almost like a race car. But I don't know if you saw, but like ASAP Rocky, he did like this collab with I don't know if it was Grand Theft Auto or Need for Speed. I think it was Need for Speed, and he had the same car I have, a 190E, and it was so dope the way it was designed. It was like split in half, two-tone, like black on white, one side, white on the other side, with like his branding. And I was just like, yeah, we're on the same page aesthetically.
You can really like build, it's like you can really build like your own car just by adding, modifications.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you follow this company in New York. It's called Brooklyn Coachworks.
No.
They kind of like refurbish or modify old vintage Land Rover, just vintage Land Rovers. I forgot what type of Land Rover.
Oh, fire!
Incredible. They like, you can even add like an electric engine.
Oh damn.
They redo all the interior. They like customize all the interior, and it's like, if I was gonna have a vintage car, it would be that.
Brooklyn what?
Brooklyn Coachworks.
Okay, I'm gonna check them out. Shout out to Brooklyn Coachworks.
Really
I was actually thinking about doing an electric engine too, but I just feel like,
no, come on, you can't do that.
yeah, that'd be kind of like,
imagine zipping through in a Mercedes 190.
Yeah.
Like you can't look with that that Tesla noise that is so
Yeah.
prominent in the city.
And I feel like I'm just setting myself up for failure. Like something wrong is gonna happen. Anyway.
I guess a quick car trivia question before we move on to the next kind of like topic.
Car
you
trivia.
love fashion as well.
Yes.
What car company was also a textile manufacturer?
Damn, that's a great question. Was it Volkswagen?
No.
Huh. Because I know Volkswagen.
So I'll give you 3 tries. So that's 1.
Okay. Was it GM?
No. Think
International?
Asian. Think Asian.
Asian, okay. Let's go with Korea. Kia?
No. Okay. Toyota.
Wow.
Yeah.
I should have just
I mean, they that's why they were like so good at I think they were pioneers with like the whole product development techniques that they had, and a lot of the stuff that they implemented into their cars, they actually learned from producing textiles.
That makes sense. They're a very efficient company.
Yeah.
Okay. Today I learned.
Anyway, moving on to like events. So you're famous.
I'm not famous. I'm not famous.
Because I've heard it from a mutual friend that we have. But you famously threw these events, these like COVID-friendly events during the pandemic.
Man, that's crazy. The pandemic was such a long time ago, but it's also so close.
You threw these like COVID-friendly events during the pandemic when honestly the people needed it most. How did you go about planning these events that brought artists together during the pandemic?
Man, it was tough because everyone, like when COVID came out, everyone was so scared. Like no one wanted to link up. But I think the best part of what made it so easy to do is we just had great venues. We had great locations and there was enough space. It wasn't like we were throwing parties in like downtown LA warehouses. We had done this one event where it was literally at this beautiful residence underneath the Hollywood sign, literally right underneath it. And there was so much space there. And then also we partnered with a COVID compliant company that tested everyone before they came in. And then we also had people sign waivers and, still kept the quote unquote 15 feet distance, even though I mean, can't control that. But I think we were just smart and strategic about making it not a it was still tasteful and it was still like
you got the feeling that you were at an event.
It was still safe. It was still safe, and it was a vibe. Most importantly, it was cool. We had some fun during COVID. We threw a couple different COVID compliant events for sure. That's cool that people someone said that to you. I forget about that. That's such a long time ago.
Yeah. The reason why I got introduced to you was like, oh, you have to meet this guy. He's throwing these he's getting artists together, throwing these parties during COVID. He's doing something right, and that's when I linked up with you.
CDC, don't come after me. Nah,
I mean, people needed it, dude. Like people needed it. The venues needed it. The artists needed it. So looking back now, maybe at the moment you were like, maybe we shouldn't do this. But looking back, you're like, thank God someone took initiative. Yeah,
it was cool. It was cool for sure.
Out of curiosity, what are some crazy parties that you've been to in LA? In terms of the actual production of it.
Man, I would say crazy party I've been to in LA. It's a good question. I mean, just like party or experiential side or just.
Let's do I guess the lines are blurred between a party in LA and an activation.
Yeah.
But let's just do the first. What's a crazy just standalone party that you've been to in LA?
Oh man, so low key, I'm actually gonna say a party that we threw. So in 2020, it was right before COVID happened, I think. We actually threw we partnered with, this is when I was doing all the car stuff for Malibu Audubon. Shout out to my dog Jake. We partnered with Aston Martin and we partnered with the agency group, and we did this party at this crazy mansion in
$42 million mansion.
Yeah, this crazy mansion in Brentwood, literally right next door, right down the street from where LeBron lives.
Yeah.
And it was getting listed for $42 million. And the way we kind of positioned it with the agency group and with Aston Martin, because we were throwing all these car events, is we're like, hey, why don't we partner with you guys on an event? I know you guys are trying to sell the property. We have the audience to do it. So let's throw it. So we partnered with all of them, and then we just brought crazy cars to the event, and it was nuts. And the funny thing about that event is that party and that house ended up getting bought by Travis Scott.
Dude.
So we threw a party. We were the first ones to throw a party at Travis Scott's house. So when you see Travis Scott with the Batman outfit in that crazy crib, a couple years ago he posted it. That was the crib that we threw it at. So technically, I know where Travis lives.
So no, you know where Travis lives, and you sold the house for Travis.
I mean,
or you made Travis buy the house.
Probably low key, because I don't know. Like, you know, you never know nowadays how people find out about stuff. But yeah, that was, I would say for sure, because it is crazy crib. Like infinity pool outlooks, like you can see the whole of LA, and the architecture design, whoever did the architecture, I forget the guy's name. It was almost like, imagine like Tony Stark's or like Iron Man. That's how the house looks, like it's made in that. So for sure, that was probably one of the craziest parties.
That's crazy, because when I was thinking about asking you this question, I was like, you know, what's a crazy party that I've been to in LA, just like randomly.
Yeah.
And the craziest party that I've been to has been a Travis Scott party. Don't ask me how I ended up there.
Wow.
But I've been, like, it was just the whole setup. I can't say things because of, you know, in this professional setting. Because
of NDAs.
Yeah. But it was a Travis Scott party. He was there. I saw him, and it was a crazy. It was just a crazy setup, dude.
Travis is the man, bro.
Speaking of parties, you know, LA loves to throw a good party. And they always blur the line between, like, you know, leisure and
for sure
having fun party with like the professional side of let's make it a brand activation, let's make it a work happy hour or whatever. Are you someone that can balance both and do both at the same time, or when you party, you party, when you're at a professional event, you're at a professional event?
Man, honestly, I just feel like with the lifestyle and like work that I do, I feel like it's honestly both. Like the lifestyle is kind of turned into work, and the work is the lifestyle. So I look at it like if I'm going to an event, and even though it's like, you know, for a fashion show, or if it's for a music event, I look at it like I'm having fun, but I'm having fun while I'm networking, you know? It's never like one-sided, you know? And I just feel like it depends on what you do. Some people really just like to go and turn up and have a good time. Some people are there just to network, but I look at it as just I'm doing both at the same time. This is, you know, getting, you know, it's being able to get paid to like just be a creative and be out there and just have fun and live your life is pretty dope.
I mean, honestly, that's a talent, man. Because when I go to these events and it's like a brand activation and it's like this whole party set up, I'm like, dude, I if I'm gonna be like sober and just like, you know, trying to speak to people and network, like I get so awkward with like, hey, normally I'm like, you know.
No, for sure. No, I feel you. Everyone's different. I think also for me too is like I took like a 2-year I took like a 2-year break of like not drinking.
I think last time I saw you like, or you were like thinking about not
not
like
drinking and smoking either. So it's just like I feel like for me it's just like it helped me concentrate more.
Oh my god, yes.
So but yeah, I mean recently, you know, we had a couple of release parties. I sipped some champagne, you know, just celebrate a little bit because it's been working hard. But yeah, for the most part, it's like I never really been like a turn up, like you know, I've always been like, you know, just go with the vibe, you know. So but I feel you on that, bro. Everyone's different, you know.
You designed the This Is Black Magic t-shirt that Jay-Z wore to the Laker game, to LeBron's
scoring record. Yeah, he broke the scoring record that night.
For a young creative coming from Chicago moving to LA, was that like a full circle moment where you're like, damn, like I'm moving in the right direction?
Man, you know, it was crazy when that happened. Like my mom actually texted me. She's like, "Isn't that the shirt that you designed for Kelly Rowland?" And because there's a whole backstory on that. So like I actually designed that T-shirt that for Kelly Rowland. Yeah. And it was based off a music video that I co-directed with this guy named Emmanuel Pica, and called for Black Magic. And the song was called Black Magic. So I had this idea, like it's kind of like what the signature thing I do for all the projects I work on. Anytime like I do a project, I do like This Is, and then the project name. So it's like This Is Black Magic. And at the time when I made it, I didn't really think of it like, oh, that could be a bold statement if worn by somebody. It's like, oh, it just made sense to me at the time. And so when I saw that, and then I saw. Then I realized like that was the night that LeBron broke the scoring record. I was like, yo, that's like history. And it was during Black History Month. So I'm like, yo, this is Black history. And I was just like, it made me just feel like,
dude, I just got the chills, dude.
Yo, that was crazy. So like, I got the chills too. But it was just for me. It was just like, okay, I must be doing something right, you know. And but then there also was. Go ahead.
Did you know that he was gonna wear it?
I did not know.
So you just saw it on like Instagram and or your mom sent it to you.
My mom sent it to me. I didn't even know. I didn't even know he had it.
That's amazing.
Didn't even know he had it. Yeah. So it was cool. And it was also kind of a full circle moment to me because like when I was younger, I always wanted to be like Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z was like it was like Jay-Z, Kanye, and Drake. Those are like the guys I looked up to. And so like, and then being able to work with Rock Nation, you know, with Kelly. And then that happened. It was just like, man, like I can't wait to actually meet bro and like, you know, have a talking point, you know. But it was cool for sure.
That's like I said, I got
the funny thing about it too is you know, it is what it is like how many copycats came up after that because it's a very simple design. I'm not gonna lie to you, like say it was
gonna be like this is this.
I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, oh, it was so complex. Like no, it was just, but then I realized because like I'm a big fan of like what Virgil does, and it's like there's power in simplicity, you know. 100%. So it was just funny to see online like all these Etsy shops and like all these like Shopify's like remaking it with like a fake person on it, but it's just like the real ones got it from the source, you know. So
you should have trademarked that, you know, like
you know, it's a whole thing, but you know, with Kelly's team working it all out. But yeah, for sure.
So what was more of a full circle moment for you? Jay-Z wearing a shirt that you designed to the Laker game, or you bringing your mom to the Grammys?
For sure, me taking my mom to the Grammys.
Again, chills, dude.
Yeah, because and not only me taking my mom to the Grammys, me taking my mom to the Grammys being nominated, you know. Because I had gone to that was my second time going to the Grammys. I went to the Grammys like 2 years before. One of my mentors took me, shout out Pharaoh. And I told myself the next time I come to the Grammys, I'm going to be nominated. I straight up said it. And I manifested it. And then, you know, 2 years later to be able to work with Eric Bellinger on his project and be able to like contribute to his body of work and like really gel and mesh with him. And like that's someone I consider a brother till this day, and then be able to help him with his project and then be nominated throughout the process. That was crazy to me. And then be able to bring my mom with me, it was like a dream come true. Like I felt like I made it, you know, like, you know, so it was really dope.
What was your mom's reaction?
She thought I was joking when I told her, like, you want to come to the Grammys? Like, Mom, you want to come to Grammys? And she's like, you're just joking. I'm like, nah, I got you a ticket. You coming with me? And she's like, for real? I was like, yeah. So yeah, it was cool. It was cool for her for sure.
Speaking of merch, you've designed merch for artists like Eric Bellinger, Jeff Hamilton, Blxst, Kelly Rowland, obviously. I recently watched the movie Elvis, where you really see like the beginnings of merch as part of this strategy to build an artist brand. You know, as someone that has worked so much, you know, creating and designing merch. What goes into, you know, designing successful merch and also promoting that merch as well? For
sure. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I feel like I'm still a student of the game when it comes to merch in the clothing industry, and I definitely feel like I've been blessed enough to have opportunities where people have given me creative control and input to design it, but I definitely don't think I've mastered that yet. But you know, just from my perspective and just a little experience I do have, I definitely think it's about one understanding the brand that you're designing with or for the artist, and then understanding their audience. And also, like, I would say, like, I think there's a difference between merch and like a brand, right? So like I've kind of tried and steer away from merch. Merch to me is like clothes that you buy at like a tour with like the artist's face and name on it. Like for me, like I'm trying to design stuff that you would wear even if you didn't know who the artist was, you know, like not just like, oh, here's a big face of Eric or a big face of with tour that's not the stuff I'm into, you know. So I think it just really, it's about understanding what the message is, the brand. And also I feel like there's a story in every piece of clothing, you know, and like trying to figure out how you can tell that story in a compelling way, through the merchandising and through how you brand it, you know, through the lookbooks.
You know, when you see successful artists that have done or created successful merch, they've really created, you know, something beyond the, you know, tour date.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the example is Kanye.
Yeah.
You know, he really built a brand, a fashion brand around his music almost.
Yeah.
That tells a story of, you know, wherever he was in his life when he created that album, which is really interesting. And it goes beyond just like, hey, let's just put, you know, your face and let's just put your tour dates there, you know?
Yeah.
I think Frank Ocean has also done that right now with like his jewelry company, you know, like
Homer.
Yeah. So I've met a couple of artist managers, and they've all have falling outs with their artists. They couldn't manage their demands. They couldn't manage their egos. You've managed or been in, you know, the management team of, you know, artists like Blxst, like Eric Bellinger, but you have somehow managed to stay close to them. How have you done that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I feel like for me, even though I've never been quote unquote like a manager for some of these artists that I work with, like I'm not getting the 20%. I'm not the one like dealing with their negotiations on a day-to-day basis. I feel like for me, there's always a level of management. It's just about understanding what level that you're managing the artist with, you know, whether it's their creative process, whether it's their emotions, their, you know, how they feel, and trying to get the best out of them, you know. But for me, it's always been about trust.
Yeah.
And there's no way you can, you know, music is a creative sport, you know, it's a creative hobby.
You used to be an artist too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Yeah, I used to be an artist. So like I understand the artist's psyche and understand, you know, what artists may or may not want to hear, because I can put myself in their shoes. I'm not just a suit, you know. So yeah, I feel like it's all about building the rapport, building the trust, and understanding that doesn't happen overnight. You know, it's a process, you know, and every day, every project, you learn more and more about the artists you work with.
Yeah. EQ, man. It's all about like EQ,
emotional intelligence.
It's like, you know, the artist is an artist for a reason, you know, and he has his, you know, artistic process, creative process. Yeah. And you need to be someone that understands that, because that's, you know, that's how he is, you know, creating what he's creating around him.
Exactly.
It's not just, you know, a money making, you know, corporation. You know,
exactly.
There's a human behind it.
There's not robotics to this, you know. You can't just put in a math equation and get a hit, you know. It's more than that.
You worked at you know, promoting young talent or promoting new artists at Red Bull Records.
Yeah.
What do you think is the key to getting a young artist out there? You know, in a world where there's like overnight virality, there's like so many forms of distribution, so many artists, so much talent out there.
First of all, I think it's about being selective with the talent and people you work with. There's not enough time in the day to work with everybody. There's not enough. You just have to be selective, but you also have to make sure whatever you do work on, you fully believe in it, and you have like a gut instinct that you know it's going to actually go where you want it to go. And that just comes with like experience and over time. And for me, I feel like it's also about understanding how that artist fits into the marketplace, and understanding like it's, you know, it's like a business, you know, product market fit. And it's really about seeing how do they fit within culture, what type of music do they make, what type of scenes are they into fashion, are they into cars, are they like, and then understanding like kind of formulating your own like math equation. Even though I just said it's never a math equation, but like
I know what you mean.
But like just adding all these
a math equation without the math.
Like adding all these things up and then making an informed decision to be like, okay, I believe in it, I see where it could go, and then putting your all into it, and just using all your resources. Like, you know, like no one knows everybody right away, but it's like, you know, you go out, you meet people, and then eventually those relationships can lead to something else. So I look at it as like, tapping in and leveraging your resources after you know what you believe in.
Totally, dude. Like, people forget that an artist is just like, there is an audience for that artist. There has to be an audience for that singer or that whatever that creative is. And a lot of the times, like, you see artists with different personas that have adapted to different times that they've tried to when they've tried to make music. So then you realize, like, hey, like, an artist isn't stuck almost. An artist is constantly evolving, And where does that artist at that time fit in culture at that time?
Yeah. I think it's also about knowing your niche, like, you don't have to.
Just like a company.
Yeah, you don't have to, like, be the biggest artist anymore to have a sustainable career. You don't have to be the top 1%. You can still tour and, live a lifestyle where, you'll be able to sustain yourself, live a healthy lifestyle. So just knowing your audience and knowing the people that you're trying to market to. When I was in South by, there was this guy, his name was Piff Marty. Shout out to Piff. He actually said something that really stood out to me. He's like, a lot of people care about their demographic when it's actually about understanding the psychographic of your artist, about your fan base as well. So, like, what do they eat? What do they drink? Where do they shop? What kind of clothes they wear? So, like, I think there's a deeper level of, like, psycho analysis that also goes into music that people need to think about as well. Like when are people going to play your music? You know, so
that's really interesting.
But
on promoting artists and promoting events. You launched a creative marketing, experiential marketing firm called Tap In XR.
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened since you launched that.
Yeah.
But where do you see music, technology, and culture going? Like, all those three things going in synergy.
Man, I think they're so symbiotic. It's unbelievable. Like, when you think about music, technology, and culture they've always been in cohesion in so many ways. Like, even if you think about Spotify and Napster, MySpace, all those companies, like, Spotify wouldn't exist if there was no artists making music. And the same way that artists need Spotify wouldn't exist if there was no artists making music. Artists need a platform to share their music. And then there needs to be a culture or audience to be able to receive and take that.
Trying to consume.
Consume it. Yeah, so it's
and discover new music with the playlisting.
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
So it's all it will continue. It's continue to grow. There's gonna be new technologies. Obviously, we're in the age of AI, which is crazy how fast things are being built. There's some things coming soon. You'll see. But it's just like it's crazy. It's just crazy to see how fast things are moving, and I definitely think there's gonna be there's a new generation of free thinkers and people like myself, people like you, who understand, like, in order for a product, a business, an artist to get to the next level, they need to be leveraging all three of those together. So
amazing. Completely agree. It's hard to, people talk about, like, do you work in tech? And it's like, there's no such thing as working in tech, dude. Tech is part of everything.
Yeah.
So like, everyone works in tech.
Yeah.
So dividing it has always been super weird. Like, oh, are you a tech founder? It's like, no, like, it's tech is part of, everything that I do every single day.
Exactly.
What are some experiential marketing stunts, experiential marketing ideas that you've either been part of or that you've seen in the space?
That I really like. I would say, I think Spotify, when I went to Spotify's, I think it was their Rap Caviar event, and it was really cool how they set up, the way they branded it and the creative direction was really cool, because what they did is they made, like, they always do, like, this, or I don't know if it was the first time, but they almost made it like a basketball team, and each basketball team, like, they did, like, the all all team, like best defensive team or best lyrical person.
Yeah.
Like they kind of made it like if you were to take like a best defensive team, but they did it with like music. So like best lyrical team, and they put like J. Cole, this rapper, that rapper, and then like it was really cool to see like they had like a really super cool like interactive basketball court that lit up. Then they had a performance from Lotto and a couple other artists, and then
who was the best defensive player?
I forget.
Oh, who was the best defensive player?
I think they had like it's like the biggest Savages, and it was like 21 Savage, or I forget, like, and then they had, of course, they had Drake, the best play. I forget how they did the how they took like the defense and made it like lyrical artist or best hit song, but it was really cool the way they just branded it in like a sports way. And then they also gave all the artists like, and it was cool because I did a collab with him too, with with Blxst thing, but they designed like custom varsity jackets and they gave them to all the artists. So it was really cool how so I was a big fan of that. And then something I've done that I think is pretty cool, not to toot my own horn, but I would say two things this past year. One was and initially I wouldn't say it was initially my idea. Definitely the team kind of had it before I was working with Blxst, but I kind of helped execute it. But it was really cool to be part of it. We did like this Air Eagle Sky Lounge where we built a almost like you were on an airplane in this big room and pretty much fans could listen to the album while they were like on an airplane, and we had a big screen and
dude, I love that stuff.
And it was like you could see the videos, and then we also had like cool interactive like your typical photo booth, and then you had a DJ playing, you had smoke on the ground like you were in the clouds. So it was pretty cool to be part of that and just help add value to a pre-existing idea. And then one thing I'm super proud of that I kind of led on was we did a campaign with Blxst for Lollapalooza called My City Shy City, where because I'm from Chicago and he was performing in LA, so I'm like, what can we do that was kind of different and unique for him? So we actually opened up a pop-up store in Chicago, and we designed, I think I'm actually wearing it. I swear I did not plan this, but like we designed like this cool we designed this people are gonna be like, he totally planned this, but I actually wasn't even thinking about this but we designed this, like, can't really see it, but like eagle merch that kind of portrayed, like, paid homage to Chicago Bulls. And
that's sick with a 22.
Yeah, instead of 23.
Yeah.
So it was,
why 22?
Because it was in
2022.
Yeah. And
where does the eagle come from?
That's
like Blxst's eagle.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that his like his?
So for him, every time like heard him speak about it, it's like he's always felt like the eagle's like a highest flying bird, and for him like but they always fly alone. So eagle's more of a brand where. And the name comes from, like, instead of flying alone, he's gonna fly in flocks. So like eagle is like the highest flying bird, but in flocks. So, but as the team keeps getting bigger, but for
dude, that stuff like the experiential marketing stuff, I really think that moves the needle. When you're trying to build a brand.
Yeah, it does, and like I just wanted to finish on the Chicago thing. So outside of pop-up store, we also like. We built a 3D site for the experience where like fans could like maybe I'll send you a video link, you could put it up so people could see it, but like fans could like walk through a world that we designed of Chicago and LA together. Wow. So we had like the Bean, we had the Slauson Mall, we had like the My City Shy City as a Hollywood sign. We had like a car wash, we had a couple really cool, and people you
get the ocean in there instead of like
we actually didn't do an ocean, but you should add that. That's kind of cool. And then fans could walk through there and then they could buy merch. So it was pretty cool. And
dude, that stuff is so cool for me. Like that really creates an experience around who the artist is. The brand around the artist.
Yeah, just memorable stuff like that where people are like, oh, that was different.
It's like I mean. I always tell when I speak to brands and they're like, I just like blast people with like digital advertising or social media ads. I'm like, dude, like just focus on, build your community.
Yeah.
And build these activations or these events, and the brand affinity that you'll build from doing these things is so much stronger. The relationship that you'll create with your customer is going to be so much stronger than, let's just target a bunch of ads.
Yeah.
It just really moves the needle. I know it requires creativity. I know it requires money, but it really does move the needle. And you can do it cheap at first and then kind of blow up from there.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, for me, it's all about just thinking outside of the box and doing things that people remember.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You're going to Boston tonight.
Yeah. For the first time. I've never been to Boston before.
For the first time, where you're going to workshop / present to and with students at Harvard.
Yeah, the Harvard Law School. It's kind of
that's crazy.
Kind of crazy.
What's your thought process?
I didn't even graduate from college.
It's
kind of crazy.
You should let them know that.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Snap! My parents still want me to get my degree. Though. I'm eventually get it though.
Dude, I think you have plenty of education, dude.
Yeah.
You have plenty of knowledge over the last years.
I wanted to go to law school at some point. Like even very recently, I wanted to go to law school because I wanted to I had this moment where I was like, man, I want to get a law degree because I want to not even be a lawyer. I just wanted to get a law degree.
I feel like I see you more as something in the business side.
Yeah.
Something the Dr. Dre thing at USC. Music industry or entertainment industry, something like that. Lawyer. I can see you opening the book and being like, dude, this is the most boring thing in the world, dude.
It's not that I wanted to be a lawyer. I just wanted to get the law degree.
It's like, what lawyer can I design this merch for?
But yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, we're going to lead a workshop tomorrow at Harvard University, the law school program.
I guess what do you want to what message do you want to relay to those kids?
Man, I feel like for me, like I said, I'm still a student of the game. So for me, it's honestly even crazy that's even happening. I be having sometimes I'm sure some people feel it too, but I be having imposter syndrome. I'd be like, how am I even here right now? This is I am not qualified to be here right now. But then one of my homies he gave me a perspective I always keep in mind is in life sometimes it's not about if you have certain qualifications or not. It's about understanding that everyone has their own unique perspective and just share your perspective. So I never want to be that type of person that's oh, I know it all. Or I'm better than you or whatever, just because I may have done some things with people in the past. I am studying every day. I look at life as my school, and I'm trying to get better and just get 1% better every day, because it's if you're not learning, and you think you know it all, that's when things are gonna start collapsing. So. What was your question? I don't even know if I answered that.
I mean, you answered it. It's the question is what's your what message do you want to relay?
Oh, yeah.
The kids at Harvard.
Yeah. Did I answer that? Or should I go?
No, you answered it.
Okay.
Because you were talking about imposter syndrome, which we actually talked about in the other episode that we did. Because I've had imposter syndrome forever.
Yeah.
Everything that I do has been dealing with imposter syndrome. It's being in LA, being a founder of a company, that's all imposter syndrome. But it's like you said, if you trust that you can teach someone, or that you can I guess educate someone about your journey doing that, then the imposter syndrome goes out the window. Because you don't have to be a college professor. You don't have to be, you have your story. You have your story doing whatever you want to do. And what you've been doing in LA, that's more than enough for to help out these kids at Harvard who are, no matter how smart they are, they're also searching for answers.
No, facts. Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's just about just sharing your experience. And for me, it's I'm just really go there to talk my shit, man. Be yo, this is this is what I did. This is what I think is the future. I don't know it all, but if you guys wanna listen to some of the things I've done, I mean, we want to listen to my perspective and implement it. Go, feel free, and I'm here if you wanna talk. Like, I'm gonna keep it super just like lighthearted. I'm not there trying to be no professor. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, it's crazy because like, you know, people like Virgil, like speaking at Harvard, and then like someone I really respect, Idris Sandu, who was able to connect with him over the pandemic. Like, he's someone I think is super dope as well on the music tech culture front too. Like, he spoke at SciArc, so like, you know, there's like I said, a new generation of new thinkers, and it's cool to see like academia is opening up and you know, allowing new ideas to maybe the stuff in the building,
stuff that isn't necessarily in a textbook.
Yeah,
you know?
unorthodox.
So
Unorthodox, untraditional. Because I'm the farthest thing from orthodox, man. Like, I'm off kilter. I am left of center. I am alt. And
these kids at Harvard need that.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go out there to recruit too. I'm trying to find the next Mark Zuckerberg. You know, you feel me? You feel me? Like, what's up? Let's build it. Let's build $1 billion company.
You're gonna come back with like the entire like 25 Harvard students
squad.
On your plane. Yeah.
If you know me, if you really know me, you know I know how to assemble and talk to people.
You're gonna be sending, you know, hit me up when next time you're in LA, or you come to LA tonight, dude. I'll
for sure
hook you up there.
For sure.
Let me ask you 2 more questions.
Cool.
You're designing. You're in charge of designing advertisement for the city of Chicago. You know the advertisement that they see in magazines, that you see in magazines, you know, in like plain magazines.
It's hypothetical for the
hypothetical.
Okay, cool. So
no, we're actually gonna do this.
I've not designed for the city of Chicago, but hit me up if y'all need some.
Imagine you have to promote the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
In an airplane magazine.
Yeah.
What part of Chicago do you promote? Like, what do you show on that magazine cover?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think I would probably, it's crazy because like I haven't been back. I don't go back to Chicago a lot because my family's out here now. So I'm like low key kind of out of touch when it comes to Chicago. And I also like didn't formally grow up in the city. Like, I was more like in the burbs area, even though like anyway, long story. My dad lived in the city, mom in the burbs. But I would say that I would probably not even show a part of the city. I would flip your question. I would. This is
why he creative directs. Dude.
I would brand it as an ethos. Like, what is the ethos of Chicago? And whatever that 3-word liner, the ethos, like Chicago is love, you know. Yeah. And I'd do a
this is Chicago.
This is Chicago, and then it's just like, see, look, you see that? This is Chicago, and
this is Chicago,
and then it's just a bunch of like elements and icons that represent the city.
Yeah.
And it's tastefully done in like some sort of like not oil painting, but like a specific like aesthetic where it's like all similar designs, and then it's just like when you say this is Chicago, but then you see icons that represent what Chicago is. You see like hearts, you see buildings, you see food.
But not, I mean, and dude, I love that idea.
Yeah, so I don't know, just
so much better than like all the I don't know if you've seen the airplane magazines with like, you know, it says like, you know, this is New York, or not. It doesn't say this is New York. Sorry, it's like, it says like, you know, come to New York. And it's like the Empire State Building. It's work a little harder. Whoever's doing the creative direction there, like, come on, work a little harder.
Facts.
You're working a lot in events, and now that, you know, everything is kind of going back to normal after COVID, you know, the event, kind of the event space is something that you're very, you know, present in. What are some things you're excited about in this area?
I would say one thing I'm really excited about right now is created this series, this experience series called Maza, which is kind of turning into its own lifestyle brand. But pretty much what Maza was a concept that I have that I wanted to bridge, because I'm Nigerian, and Mayowa means bring me joy in Yoruba, in case y'all didn't know. Mayowa. But anyway, so I really wanted to find a way to bridge the gap between being from America, but also being Nigerian and from the continent of Africa and the diaspora. And I was able to get an opportunity where we were able to get a partnership with the Pendry Hotel, which is beautiful hotel. And they have a music venue there called the Sunrose. So we throw monthly events there where we mix different genres from Afro beats to hip hop and R&B, and then we have a live band. But the center of the focus is really on Afro beats. And now we started that last year, and it's been going great. We've had a lot of people come out, we've had Chance the Rapper come, we've had Smino come, we've had Buddy come, we've had a couple people in the music industry come as well out, and it's cool to see each one just keeps getting better and better. And we just noticed we're really building a cool community, tight-knit community there. And now we're expanding it into more of just a party and experience, where now we're doing art shows and working on Maza merch, and
it's called Maza.
It's called Maza.
Is there a meaning behind that?
Yeah, so Maza means madness. So for us, when we were conceptualizing it, it was about to us it's madness to have an Afrobeats experience
in LA,
and not even in LA, because there's Afrobeat parties in LA, but on Sunset Boulevard in West Hollywood, and we're throwing these parties in a jazz club, because the Sunrose was made to be a jazz club. And it's not a predominantly,
it's kind of perfect for this.
It's not a predominantly the event also isn't just African people, which I love, is because we're introducing people from different backgrounds. We'll have Asian people come, Mexican people come, white people come. It's very inclusive, but it's all about that grounded root of Afrobeats and the African diaspora. So for me, it's really cool to just be able to embrace my culture.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting that you say this, because when I lived in London, it was really easy to go to these events, from music from certain countries, right?
Yeah.
It was all very inclusive and easy and accessible. And yes, you can, public transport there is easier, it's easier to move around the city. But I was talking with my friends here the other day. It's dude, what if I want to go to a reggae bar? If I want to go to a Jamaican bar, where do there probably are so many in LA.
Yeah.
But living on the West Side, or living in the either on the west side of LA or Hollywood, mid city.
Yeah.
They're really, where do you go if you want to experience that, right? So it's you mentioning that you're doing this on Sunset, at a jazz club on Sunset, is it's almost it's hats off, dude. People need this. People in the city need a place like that. That's open to cultures from around the world, and inclusive.
Yeah, and I think it's cool because for us right now, it's not I feel like we have the coolest party that no one knows about, and I kind of like it that way. I kind of like it that way because, it's not too mainstream yet. It's more niche. If you know, you know, and it gives us time to keep. Now you know, but it gives us time to just keep fleshing out the experience and the vibe, and so I'm looking forward. That's something I'm really excited about, and shout out to the Pendrys, Sunrose, for letting us be mad in there and just do something left field, because for them that was different too. They've never done anything like that before, so hats off to them for even
being open to the idea.
being open and believing. So it's been fun.
More places like the Pendry we need in LA. This is the last question that we ask. Since we're on a ship, I always ask, where's this ship going and who are you bringing in the ship with you? So where are you going? What are you doing right now? And who are you bringing with you in the journey?
It's a great question. The ship is going up It's going uppity. But I would say I'm definitely bringing people who, I'm bringing people who elevate me. You know, I'm bringing people who push me to be the best version of me. And then I'm also bringing people that I can help elevate, but not in the sense of people that are like, you know, there's some people who want it, but they just don't have the resources or the opportunities. So those are the two types of people I'm bringing with me. People who are above me, people who, not below me, but people who maybe where I was, where I wanted to be, but are hungry. And then people at the same level of me that are like pushing on the same grind, my peers, you know?
Yeah.
So those are the type of people I'm bringing with me. And we're going to the top, and we're not stopping.
Amazing.
And
You heard it from here first, dude. He's going to the top on this ship.
Going to the top, and it don't stop. Yes.
Mayo, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, hopefully this, you know, we can remember this interview, and, you know, watch it back in like a couple of years and be like, damn, look at what we were, you know. But new creative director at EVGLE, working on some big things. Mayowa, follow him on Instagram. I'll do, you know, I'll add all that information on the descriptions. And yeah, dude, thank you, Mayo.
For sure. Buy Mayowa.com. Check it out.
Yes.
And yeah, we out here.